In the bustling city of New York, Samantha was widely known among her friends and colleagues as a fiercely independent woman. At 30, she'd carved a niche for herself in a lucrative career, traveled to more than 15 countries, and her spontaneous laughs peppered every gathering with a hint of excitement. Yet behind this well-curated persona lay a growing storm, whispering its chilling tales each time Samantha locked eyes with her reflection. Enter Mark. His presence in Samantha's life was as electrifying as any charismatic leader. He was charming, well-mannered, and had an elite social circle that Samantha found exhilarating. But beneath his alluring facade, Mark harbored patterns seen in those driven by narcissistic tendencies, a need for control, validation, and an intolerance for independence that rivaled Samantha's own. Initially, Samantha was enamored by Mark's intense devotion. He promised protection, care, and a partnership built on mutual admiration. However, over the months, his attention turned into scrutiny, his charming smile into a predictive measure of approval or disapproval that impacted Samantha more profoundly than she dared to admit. "Why do you wear that? Don't you think it's a bit too revealing?" Mark questioned one evening, his eyes narrowing as he scanned her outfit for their friend's birthday. The remark seemed innocuous at first, almost caring, but it birthed a seed of doubt that planted itself deeply in Samantha's mind. As their relationship deepened, Mark's veiled queries transformed into direct commands, expertly disguised with laughter and endearment. "You're so pretty when you wear shades of blue. I don't know why you bother with other colors," he'd say, causing Samantha to gradually skim over the vibrant threads she once adored, much to his satisfaction. Her expressive laugh, once a fond echo in the relationships she cherished, became a selective gift when Mark's mood permitted. Samantha began to rationalize his behaviors. She began questioning her own preferences, mistaking his possessive control for loving concern. The changes were subtle but sure. Samantha began declining spontaneous weekend trips with her friends. She exchanged unapologetically wild hairstyles for more demure looks, ones that Mark favorably nodded at. The life she designed for her own happiness gradually spun on an axis centered around Mark's fluctuating desires and sentiments. Signs of emotional manipulation are often insidious, as they creep through the crevices of individual conviction, eroding autonomy with a surgical precision only someone oblivious could overlook. But what may seem like complicity in convenience or tradition is often autonomy on a tight leash, reined in by the need for external affection and approval. One sleepless night, choked with the fear of confrontation, Samantha discovered an online forum for those battling relationships with partners exhibiting narcissistic behavior. Thread after thread narrated experiences that mirrored her own, the emotional retraction punctuated by small epiphanies. It wasn't long before Samantha understood that she was not alone, and that there was strength in recognizing the silent erosion of her independence. She started small, a choice to wear a daring red dress to a function, ignoring Mark's disapproving gaze. A spontaneous lunch with an old colleague despite his incessant calls and messages. These were minor triumphs, yet each was a foundational block in rebuilding her autonomy. In time, Samantha realized autonomy was not about making grand declarations, but relishing those small moments of choice that defined her. Each step away from Mark's prevailing shadow was a step towards the bright trails of her own identity, now emerging from the gray. "She's a grown woman. She can decide," the phrase echoed in Samantha's mind. It fueled her resolve as she reclaimed her position as the author of her story, no longer just a character subject to another's whims. The clock of autonomy can be insidious in its silence, but turn it she did, one moment of defiance at a time. And even though the process was gradual, Samantha eventually learned that reclaiming life from emotional tyranny is an act no less than liberating.